Hey guys, it's Nolan here, and welcome to MLB 18 The Show. Now, this is going to be a franchise series I'm going to be starting up. Um, I don't know if anybody's going to enjoy this. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy playing this, and if you want to watch, then I would gladly appreciate it. If not, then I'll post more Fortnite and Black Ops later on. But this is what I'm going to be doing today. Now, I'm kind of deciding what team I want to do. Now, if you don't know, I'm a huge Chicago Cubs fan. I basically know everything about them. I know like all the players. I know most of the minor league prospects. I know just pretty much anything about them. So I'm debating if I want to do them or if I want to do a different team where they're worse and I can bring them up and make them into a playoff team and a World Series contender, in a couple of years. But I also want to do the Cubs because I could just make them a powerhouse in the National League and just basically dominate like everybody and make them just a World Series contender year after year and basically become a dynasty. Um, so I'm kind of deciding what I want to do here. I think I'm gonna go with the Cubs just because I know them more, and it's gonna be a lot more enjoyable. I think if I pick a team that I know and that I understand and that I can navigate my way around. I'm gonna turn GM contract off. That way I don't get fired for some reason. If per se we have a couple bad seasons or something. Everything else is going to stay the way it is. Fantasy draft off, free agents are off, or legend free agents are off, not regular free agents. Roster controls off, so I can't control the roster. CPU trading on, so they can trade and do whatever they want to do, make their teams better, obviously. Ignore budgets off, force trades off, and then designated hitter auto. If you don't really know much about baseball, I'll try to explain some of the stuff as I go along to try to help you. Now, these are the settings I'm going to be running. I'm going to be running auto on these because it's one of those tedious things I don't like doing. Of like, calling up. Like, I will call people up and down. Actually, wait a second. Actually, I'm going to make this manual, but I'm going to keep the 40-man roster on auto. That way, during the off season, when oh, what do they call it? I forget now. The draft, where basically there's a draft in the off season where if you don't have someone on your 40-man roster, they're able to be picked up by a different team in a draft, and you have no say whether they get to pick it or not, or pick that person, and they basically become on their team, right? Oh, the Rule 5 draft. Yes, I remember now. So I'm gonna keep that on auto, so that way that doesn't happen. I'm also gonna make my lineups and rotations on auto because that's tedious and the CPU can deal with that. But I'm going to keep this on manual. The scouting is going to be on auto, so that way I don't have to scout. And plus, I suck at scouting because every time I scout like, I don't get very many prospects scouted, and then I end up having to draft like 4 rounds of straight prospects that I know nothing about. Waivers and drafting, I'm going to keep on manual. Injury management, I'm going to do MLB only. So the prospects and the minor leaguers, they're gonna, when they get injured, those get automatically placed on whatever. But when I'm gonna be notified when someone in the MLB gets hurt, that way I know about it. And everything else except for contracts is gonna be on manual because contracts are super tedious and I hate contracts so much. I'm also gonna run some sliders. The only thing I'm changing is the injury frequency, so players won't get injured nearly as much as they usually do. Now, this is going to be more of a kind of introduction video, just kind of look at the team, see where we're at, see what we got going on, maybe look at the future outlook of the team, maybe look at what future moves we can make to make this team better. And even though they are one of the best teams in baseball, as of now, also I forgot to mention, this is before the new OSFM rosters come out. This is OSFM 2.6. So this is going to be before the trade deadline trades. So Cole Hamels isn't on this team. The other Texas Rangers pitcher we got from them recently is not on the team. But honestly, I would trade them away anyways because they're both kind of old and they're not really good. Although Cole Hamels is a good pitcher in real life, just not in the game. He doesn't really have a high overall, I don't think. But we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the calendar real quick. This is spring training. I am gonna probably call up some prospects if we have any. Maybe play with a couple of them through here. I will do spring training in this video. I'll get to the regular season next video. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at our team. Let's introduce you to what is the Chicago Cubs. So you obviously have Kyle Hendricks. In real life, he is not the ace, but in this game, he is the ace. Also, Drew Smyly should not be down in single A. So Kyle Hendricks, obviously, in this game is going to be our ace. To go take a look at his stats here. 28 years old, B potential, 88 overall. Really good pitcher. But he does regress for some reason and never gets better. This is as good as he's going to get, and he's going to get worse from here. So I might see if I think I'm going to keep him. Only because he posts really good numbers, and he's a really good pitcher in the game. He performs well, but he just regresses really fast. Then you got John Lester, the 34-year-old ace in real life. In the game, obviously he's our number 2 because the overalls are a little whack, but probably going to end up getting rid of him. He's got a pretty big contract, $9.6 million for 3 more years. He's already 34 years old. He's going to keep getting worse. He's going to have maybe one more good season before he starts getting really bad. And honestly, I think I might as well get my value out of him now rather than later when I could, get a really good young pitcher for him to progress further and better than what he is now. You also have Jose Quintana, the previous Chicago White Sox pitcher, though we got last year. He's a lefty. Pretty alright stats, these are his stats. Probably going to keep him too. He posts really good numbers in this game. He doesn't get much better though, actually. If anything, he gets worse. But he's really average and really good at everything. And he hits his spots, dude, when you're pitching with him, and he hits those corners like you want him to. Now, in real life, this is our big signing of the free agency last free agency. So I guess the beginning of this year, Yu Darvish, one of the top pitchers in baseball. Some would agree, or some would argue. In my mind, he is probably one of the best. But as of now, he has not had a good season with the Cubs in real life. He's been injured. He's very much been injured or sick the entire season, and anytime he has pitched, he didn't do very well. I probably will get rid of him, saying he's got a pretty hefty contract over 6 years, and I'm not willing to keep him for that long. Also, I'd rather get my value out of him while I can. Then you got Drew Smyly. This is another free agency free agent we got over the last free agency. He hasn't pitched at all this year. I'm not sure. I don't think. He's been injured the entire year. I think he had Tommy John or surgery, and he's recovering. He might pitch sometime the end of this year in real life, but as of now, he hasn't pitched to today. Then you have Tyler Chatwood, which in real life, he's our number 5, but in this game, he's not really worth anything. 69 overall, 28 years old, C potential, only getting paid about $500,000, which isn't that bad. I might keep him as a backup down in the minor league, so if I ever need to bring anybody up for an injury, he'll probably be my go-to guy. If we look at the bullpen here, we got one of the better relief pitchers in baseball, I would say, Pedro Strop. Now, he is definitely going to stay, although he is getting paid. He's a free agent after this year, and he's going to want probably close to $10 million a year. I'm willing to pay it because he is a phenomenal pitcher, phenomenal bullpen arm, really reliable when you need that person to step up and shut down hitters. I trust him, and he's probably going to be on the team for as long as I can keep him. Now we got Carl Edwards. He's just a fastball, he's a breaking ball pitcher. You want to look at his stats real quick. Also, I didn't show you this guy's stats either. You can go ahead and look at his stats real quick. Carl Edwards, young, high potential, high ceiling. Really high hits per 9 and strikeouts per 9. So basically, he's not letting anybody on base unless he's going to walk them, because he's got 28 walks per 9, which isn't that fantastic. Not much control there, but he's definitely got the break and definitely got the velocity to get it done. Again, one of those guys I trust out of the bullpen if I'm gonna bring someone in. I'm gonna try to speed this up actually because I feel like I'm taking a while. So I'll spend longer on the more important players, I guess, in the organization. Now you have Justin Wilson, another kind of, he's already 30, but he's again reliable. Another lefty coming out of the bullpen, which we only have. I think we only have one of actually. No, we have Montgomery, but we have Justin Wilson. He's a good arm. He is very productive and another reliable pitcher. You have I always forget how to say this guy's name. I believe it is Sidecheck. Sidecheck. That is, I think that's how you pronounce it. Sidecheck. He's a little old, and I don't see him progressing. And I'm also paying him $3 million for 2 years, which isn't that bad. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'll get rid of him or not. Now, Brian Dunsing definitely going to be gone. 75 potential, 75 overall C potential with already 35. He's definitely going to regress. Almost pretty much immediately. I'm just going to get rid of him as fast as I possibly can. And then Montgomery is another one of those guys I can trust out of the bullpen. He's more of a long-term relief pitcher. Can stay in the game longer. Excuse me. Stays in the game longer. Just pretty reliable when it comes to, if you have a pitcher not do too well and you need to bring someone in your, the 5th, 6th inning or so. I just switched teams on accident. Oops. We're going to go over to our closer, Brandon Morrow. Probably going to get rid of him too. $7.9 million for 2 more years. Although he is a really good pitcher, I don't think he's worth it. Especially since every franchise I've ever done with this team, he's never really done well, and I just don't see him doing it now of all times. Now, one of the best young catchers in baseball, Wilson Contreras. He is just a monster, huge piece to our organization, huge piece to our offense. He's definitely staying for as long as I possibly can keep him. He's got a renewable contract after this year. He's got 3 years arbitration. He's not going anywhere for a while, so he's definitely staying with us for a while, or for a long time. Also got Victor Caratini, the prospect behind him. 1 year younger, but obviously a lot worse. As you can see, the overall difference is 20 points. But if he plays long enough in AAA and down below, he can definitely become a really good player. I've had him come up to 90s before in my and actually replace Contreras whenever he leaves. Also got Jimenez down here and a bunch of prospects. Jimenez is going to be gone. 35 years old, 66 potential, or 66 overall. Excuse me. Just not worth anything. Now you have our first baseman, Anthony Rizzo, arguably one of the best first basemen in the game today. I think he's at least top 5. I don't think his stats do him justice. Also, he's going to be staying for a while. He's getting paid a lot of money, but he's really worth it. Now, I am going to do one thing really quickly that some people may not like. Some people probably won't care. I think this is very reasonable. You can see that his stealing is down to 30 and his fielding are only at 73. If you have seen him in real life, you know those are not realistic stats. Those are nowhere near his stats. He has stolen home plate, one of the hardest things to do in baseball, and he's stolen home plate like 4 times this season. So I'm gonna bump that up. I'm not gonna do it outrageously like 90. I'm just gonna give him about a 72. I think that is reasonable, and I think that is not too much, and I don't feel like I gave him too little. I think that is perfectly reasonable for the skill level he is at with stealing. Also with fielding ability, I believe Javier Baez, the plays he has made, is probably one of the best, if not the best, fielding infielder in baseball. And I'm not going to give him insane fielding. I'm just going to give him about an 88. I think that's a little low, but I don't want people complaining, saying that, I'm boosting his stats too much, or I'm making him too good. So I'm going to leave it an 88. It'll go up. It'll go up to above a 90. I'm not concerned. I think 73 was a little low. And then his arm, I could definitely raise that up too, because I feel like he has a better arm. I'm just going to leave it the way it is, though. I think that is, acceptable. But Javier Baez definitely deserves a better fielding and stealing stat. So he's up to a 93 now, which, you know, complain if you want to. That's what I believe. That's how I'm gonna do this. We also have Ben Zobrist. He's 36. He's you know he's definitely flexible, if you want to say. He's got you know 4 secondary possessions. Can play the whole outfield. Can also play shortstop. He's a switch batter, so he can play you know against righties or lefties. But he's really old. He's only got 2 years left in his contract. He's probably going to retire soon. I want to get my value for him while I can. Now David Bodie. This is a real life prospect that actually is up in the MLB right now. He's been on and off in the MLB, but he's actually got some pretty, you know, I think he plays pretty well. I'm not going to change anything. I just want to check his potential. I feel like his potential is a little low, but I'm not going to change it. I just wanted to check, you know, but we'll see where it goes. Now, Chris Bryant, obviously, one of the best draft picks in the last 6 years, about, you know, however long he's been. I think he's been in baseball for about 5-6 years now. You know, we had posters in Wrigley of him before he was even called up to the MLB. You know, when he was drafted, the first year he played in the MLB, Rookie of the Year, second year in the MLB, you know, MVP. The year we won the World Series, he's just incredible player. Super, you know, 26 years old, 94 A potential. He is, you know, really durable or flexible. I mean, you know, he can play first and the outfield if we need him to, which he's going to play third base most of the time, or you know, almost always. We've got him under contract for at least 4 more years, so he's not going anywhere for a little bit. We've also got, you know, Tommy La Stella down here, who's a good contact hitter, can play the infield a little bit. I'll see about keeping him in the MLB. He's a good contact hitter, and I think he can come up in those spots where I believe that if we need a pinch hitter, he's kind of one of our go-to guys. Now, Addison Russell, our young shortstop with insane fielding ability. I think his stats are better than they are, but I'm not going to raise them. I'm just going to leave them where they're at. I think they're acceptable for, I guess, but I feel like they are better than what they show. Now, here's the thing. Russell is a really good defensive shortstop that I know, you know, will progress and get better as the series goes on. But he isn't a hitting shortstop. He doesn't hit, and he doesn't contribute to the offense. Now, I might get rid of him if I get any good offers, or if I can find any good offers. I might keep him. It just kind of depends on where I feel like I need to get, when I need to do, because normally he never turns into anything, but it's just a really good defensive shortstop. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Ian Happ, 23 years old, 81 overall, A potential. One of the best prospects in the majors. You know, he can play the outfield. He can play second base. He was originally a second baseman when he came into the league, but Joe Madden turned him more into an outfielder. He plays left field most of the time. Can play center. I've only seen him play left and center. I've never actually watched him play right, but I know he has. You know, he's ridiculous. We're gonna have him under contract for a while. 6 years he'll be under contract. He's not leaving for a while. He's one of our best prospects, and I'm not getting rid of him no matter what. You also have Kyle Schwarber, the power hitting lefty, from and out in left field also. He can play left field and catcher. I'm not gonna get rid of him. He's our power off the bench. You know, monster hitter against righties with that 95 power, which usually goes up to a 99 almost every single time. Just ridiculous power hitter, and definitely I feel like his fielding and his arm are a little worse than they are in real life. But again, I'm not gonna touch it. I only wanted this to, you know, improve Javier Baez's stats because I feel like he needed it, or he deserved it the most. Albert Almora, one of our other really good prospects, super good contact hitter, can field the ball really well. Also, his stats don't, you know, I feel like his stats are worse than they are in real life. A lot of the players' stats are worse in the game, I feel like, but I'm not going to touch them. In real life, I feel like he's way better fielding than 70, but we're going to leave it. I'm not going to touch it. but great contact hitter, good in the center field, 23 years old, 73 overall. He usually goes up to an A potential, so don't worry about that B potential thinking, oh, he's not going to be anything spectacular. No, he usually goes up to an A potential. He usually turns out to be like a 90, low 90 overall player. He's under contract for another 6 years at least, so he'll be here a while. Those are his stats if you want to look at them. For, just one of our better players in the organization. And finally, we're going to end it off here with Jason Hayward. The Gold Glove, like what was it, 3 or 4 time Gold Glove winner. Last couple years, just insane fielding, insane arm strength, arm accuracy. He's a decent contact hitter. He's got a little bit of speed to him. He will go up in overall, but not a ton. But he's only 28, so he's got a couple years. We've got him under contract for 6 more years, so I feel like he's probably going to stay. And then that's going to do it for our overlook of the team. We can look at I'll look at a couple of the prospects that I think are important to talk about, that I didn't say anything about. If you look, let's see, where is it? I think it's a starting pitcher. Yes, here are a couple of starting pitchers that I think could become big. Got Adbert. I actually have never said this man's name before, so if I butcher it, that, sorry. But I'm going to say Adbert Alzolay. Okay, yeah, anyways. 23 years old, 65 overall, B potential, already got 76 stamina. I feel like he's got pretty average stats. He could become something pretty special. Same thing for Alex Lange, 22, 65 with a B potential. Really similar stats to Adbert. I feel like these are 2 of our best prospects, next to Luke Farrell. Luke Farrell could also become something kind of special if they progress right and they progress the way I want them to. And out of that, it's just kind of, basically this guy, Oscar De La Cruz, the 23-year-old right-hander, 63 overall, B potential, could become something special. And Jose Albertos, this would be the last guy I talk about. 19 years old, 60 overall, B potential, right-hander from Mexico. So those are some of our big pitching prospects that we could have up in the MLB, hopefully sometime soon. Now, I'm going to put a couple sponsorships in here since I have them, and it'd be helpful. If you don't know, sponsorships basically help me get more money. So, I can get $2,500 per hit. So once a player gets a hit in a game, that's $2,500 I get with that one. With this one, I get a guaranteed $20,000 per game. So that's pretty helpful. And I get $30,000 every single time I win a game. And with this team, I definitely believe they will win a lot of games. Now we're going to go pick up Tony Zitch for 4.3 over 6 years. The reason I'm going to do that is because he's only 27 years old. He's already an 80 overall, B potential, righty out of the bullpen, really good player, and he was in a free agent, so, it was a good pickup. So we're going to go ahead and sim through spring training, and then the next video, I'll probably record another one of these, and that will start the beginning of the regular season. So, as you can see here in spring training, Anthony Rizzo gets hurt for a few days. No biggie, he's back already. And we went 18-13, so pretty alright. That's going to do it for me, guys. Next video, we will play the game against the Marlins, opening day, with Kyle Hendricks on the mound versus Wei Yin Chen. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to see more, let me know. Give me some suggestions down below what you think the team could benefit from, and what you think that I could do better. I would definitely like to hear feedback, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.